Hey, Homebodies, Ashley here. Before we get into today's episode, I want to take a quick moment to share with you a new company that I have joined, and I am super excited to share more about it with you. KINS is Physical Therapy Reimagined. It is an all inclusive physical therapy app designed for convenience. Through the KINS app or their website, kins.com, you can check your insurance eligibility. Yes, KINS is in network with most major insurance companies. And you can enter a bit about the problem that you're currently experiencing and then get matched with an expert physical therapy provider. You can even book your first appointment online. Your appointments can be done 100% virtually from the comfort of your own home and will include one-on-one video appointments with a physical therapist and access to a personalized library of exercises, in addition to in-app messaging where you can ask your physical therapist questions at any time. If you aren't familiar with me and my background, I am a physical therapist with over 10 years of experience and specialize in geriatrics, chronic pain, and pelvic health. KINS Virtual Care is especially designed for those experiencing pelvic health concerns, including pregnancy-related pain, birth prep, postpartum care, bowel and bladder issues, pelvic pain, and many more. And if you're wondering if virtual pelvic health physical therapy can actually help, the answer is yes. Recent research has shown that virtual care for pelvic health can be just as effective as in-person care for a variety of conditions. And if you end up needing a referral for an in-person provider, we are happy to help you out with that. If you live anywhere in Massachusetts, you can ask for me, Ashley Drake, and a KINS representative will set you up with an initial visit where we will do a deep dive into your story, your medical background, and then we will come up with a treatment plan that works for you. Hope to see you there. Now on to the episode. Welcome to Haunted Homebodies, where Halloween isn't just a day, it's a lifestyle. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Sara, and we're your guides through the delightfully dark corners of comfort horror.
Grab your pink champagne and make your pillow fort.
It's time for a road trip.
Road trip! Oh, well, we have an opening question. Who would play you in a movie, Sara? Who do you think? Have you ever been told you look like a celebrity? Do you have one? I just thought of immediately. I was like Jennifer Love Hewitt. Just
I
came into my
love
brain.
it. Give me,
That could work,
give me.
right?
Does she not have a nickname?
J Lo Hugh.
Right.
That's
J
the other.
Hugh,
J
JLH. None of it flows. Anyway,
No.
give me Jennifer Love Hewitt. That
Yeah.
sounds J Love. No, I
I
don't.
feel like there is something like J Lo. That's not right.
I love it. I would be flattered to take Anne Hathaway.
Oh yeah.
That would be great. What's really funny about these is I always picture somebody older than me, but if you were to do a movie about your life, it would be someone younger than you,
That's
right?
true. That's true. That is typically how it works because we're
Yeah.
not talking about what's happening to us in the future. That would be like some
Yes.
Black Mirror kind of
That would be
shit.
that would be cool. Well, what about you? Who would play you?
Well, I don't know, but I pose this question because I have been told, I want to say once, maybe twice, that I look like Lily Sobieski. I think that's
All
how you say her
right.
name.
I can see it.
For some
Kind
reason,
of.
I wasn't like, when someone tells you you look like a celebrity, usually you're like, thank you. I'm beautiful. For some reason, when they said that, I think of her in the like Never Been Kissed role, where she's just like an
Oh,
uber dork.
yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I also typically just find her personality in movies to be irritating. Like she always plays a very similar character,
Hmm.
and I don't know.
Have
She's
you
so weird to
have you
me.
seen there's like fairly regularly there'll be these Reddit threads that ask like who's a someone who was like a really big deal who you thought was gonna like totally blew up and then just completely disappeared and her name pops up every time.
Yeah, that's interesting. She has a really weird really weird run where she's in a lot and
Yeah.
kind of a variety of genres. A decent amount of thrillers, I think. And then, yeah, where
Mm-hmm.
is she?
I
Where is
do
she
not
now?
know.
Do
Genuinely
we?
don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to Google that at some point and see.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not upset about it. It just was never like a comparison where I was like, really? That's me?
But that puts you in like 1 degree of separation from Paul Walker, so
That's true. Paul Walker has a crush on me by this logic.
exactly. Actually, I don't see the problem.
It's true.
We took a little break the past, oh my gosh, like 3 episodes from being as thirsty as we usually are
Uh-huh.
on this podcast. Buckle up, everybody.
Paul Walker, I mean, this movie was probably the reason I realized I was straight. Like Paul Walker, I was like, oh, like so this is what it's like to feel something. As
Yeah,
a whatever 13-year-old or however old we were when we watched this together.
like I often cite Legolas, which
Mm.
is he masculine? Not so much. So
There's some questions about, yeah,
that's a
that's queer
different
coded
conversation.
crush for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. But this movie came out like right after Lord of the Rings, The
Did
Fellowship
it?
of the Ring.
Okay.
So I guess it would have been Paul.
Yeah, it's gotta be Paul. Also, just
Yeah.
calling him Paul by his first
I
name.
don't think I've ever done that
Paul.
before.
No, he sounds
Feels
like a little dweeb,
feels
like a
really weird.
grandpa. Oh man,
Never.
I love the movie we're talking about. We're talking about Joyride today, by the way. I love this movie so much, but I do have these moments where I get really sad.
I
Since he
know.
has passed, and I just, oh, so tragic. We loved him. I
I
still love
feel
him.
like so many actors, maybe not so many, but there are a good handful of actors who were in the same kinds of movies, like not super serious movies around the same time, who at some point got to have this like renaissance, right? They literally called it a
Yeah.
McConaissance for Matthew McConaughey.
A reconnaissance. I was like,
Yes.
what is this word you're saying? It's like it's about McDonald's.
No,
Got my McDonald's
Matthew
print behind me.
McConaughey.
Mc- oh.
And I feel like we were robbed of Paul Walker's Renaissance.
Agreed. My favorite one that's happening is Adam Brody right now.
Oh, yes.
So good. So
Yes.
good. He just came back swinging in the rom-coms, and I he wasn't one that I had a crush on in high school only because I didn't watch whatever teen show he was
The
in.
OC.
Did not watch that, and then I didn't watch Gilmore Girls either.
Oh, yeah, he was also on
So,
that.
but then like later, I was like, oh my gosh, I totally would have, you know, and I'm sure I did to a degree because he was just out there in the
Yeah.
pop culture world, but it wasn't like Paul Walker where I just was like, this is the most beautiful man on the planet.
And like still now, I watch it and
Yeah.
like I'll go watch Lord of the Rings and be like, oh no, it's not like for me anymore.
No.
But
It
I
never was
will.
for me.
Yeah.
Well, we know who it was
Yeah.
for me. Most people know by now that it was Faramir for me. But here we go again, in
It's a
case anyone didn't
confession
know.
every time.
It feels more embarrassing than like almost anything else I've said on the
I
podcast.
appreciate your vulnerability
Okay,
and
but
continuing to share that.
now it is Aragorn
100%.
through and through, no questions
Absolutely.
asked.
But going back to watch Joyride, which I don't think I have seen since I was a child. I
Really?
feel exactly
Like a
the
little
same
tween?
way.
Oh,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, this is, I would say, his prime. Like throughout his
Yes.
entire career, he's extremely dreamy and attractive. But this movie, he isn't doing anything special, which I think I appreciate. He's just like a regular guy,
Hmm.
kind of doing regular things. He doesn't have anything that, like, his personality isn't doing anything like wild. He's not particularly boring. He's not particularly interesting. But I don't know. I just like it. He's just like a very believable character, and I think
Yeah.
that for a thriller, especially with the hook of this movie, you'd think it would just be like really like dumb and silly, and it's actually I think like fairly well done.
I kept waiting when I was watching it to start laughing at it because
Yeah.
I love doing that in horror movies. I mean, we talked about Final Destination 2 weeks ago, and
Hilarious.
absolutely hysterical, and I
Yeah.
enjoyed that. And this I was like, wait, is this movie kind of good?
It's kind of good. And it is funny, but it's intentionally funny. Like
Yeah.
Steve Zahn, is that Steve Zahn?
My guess is on. I don't know.
Zahn. Is his first name Steve?
His
I'm
first
like,
name is
okay,
Steve.
thank you. I'm like,
Yeah.
am I even in the ballpark here? His character is so good. We always love the funny guy. And he's actually like really funny and such good comic relief in this movie. I love him.
Maybe I'll wait till we get to the discussion, but I disagree there.
Oh,
The internet is
fun.
on your side, though.
Who?
The internet
Oh, the internet. Oh, okay.
in general.
Sweet. Good luck, Sarah. All right.
Oh,
Well, do you want to introduce the movie or shall I?
you go for it.
Let me do it. I got my notes here. Got my notepad. Okay. Joyride was released on October 5th, 2001. Good year. We think we've established that already.
Hmm.
And starred the late, great Paul Walker, our all-time Hollywood crush. We have already established that as well. Google classifies this as a thriller slash action movie. I agree with Google, maybe for the first time in the
Whoa.
podcast. But I don't know why. Like, this is definitely a thriller, but it's got pretty strong horror vibes. Like, in my head, I kind of classify it as a horror movie. It's not super horror, but there are some elements in there. I think it just because this was like one of the first scary movies I kind of watched and loved, and it's very tense. It's very tense and just has a few moments where I think it goes horror, and I just like have latched onto those and classified it as such in my brain.
I mean, he rips a man's jaw off.
That's pretty much, yeah, top of the list there.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I remember I've watched this movie many, many times. Somehow this has become like very much a comfort watch for me. And I realized as an adult that I had never really processed that scene or like looked at it. 'Cause I remember like when we were younger, we would just like
Oh, yeah. No, thank
not
you.
look. And now I'm like studying it. I'm like, huh. Like trying to figure out like how someone might be able to survive that, like the medical equipment with the ventilator. Fascinating. Disgusting. It's disgusting is what I meant to say.
Desensitized.
Excuse me, disgusting. Outing myself. I'm like, did I say fascinating? I meant disgusting. Okay, this movie is rated a 6.6 out of 10 on IMDb, 74% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 70% of Google users liked this movie. Pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
that feels right for the type of
It
movie
does
it
feel
is.
right. I
Hmm.
assumed that this would just be like a low-rated movie, and but then recently, as I'd been like kind of looking into the movie for this episode, I see that like people kind of list it as like a sleeper, like a movie that we're all sleeping on. Like
Mm-hmm, hmm.
it's underrated. More people should be talking about it. More people should be watching it, etc. Go watch it
Agreed.
if you haven't. It's so good. It's currently streaming on Plex, which I didn't know was a streaming service, but it's free with commercials. If you have however people stream things. I have a Roku. I don't know how other people's lives work. Wow, that was a struggle.
Mine's right in my TV. It's
Oh,
an
you're
app. Just get
fancy.
the Plex app. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I am old. I've had a Roku for like 10 years, and by a Roku, I mean like 5 Rokus because they
Yeah,
just keep
that's
breaking.
how
But
it
anyway,
goes. Hmm.
I'm a creature of habit. Let me read a synopsis of this movie for you. It's summer break, and college freshman Lewis Thomas, I never knew his last name was
Me
Thomas.
neither.
Did I put this in or did you?
I did.
Okay, I'm like, wow, I didn't. Anyway, okay. Lewis Thomas has decided to embark on a cross-country road trip to pick up the girl of his dreams, Venna, played by Lily Sobieski. But Lewis's romantic hopes hit a detour. Wow, this is good. When he stops on the way to rescue his older brother, Fuller, played by Steve Zahn, I think Zahn, who goads him into playing a practical joke on a lonely trucker over CB radio. Now that trucker, now that trucker, an unseen and terrifying force known only by his CB handle, Rusty Nail, wants the last laugh and revenge. Wow, thanks for hanging with me through that. It gets me giddy. I just love this movie. It's so good.
It lends itself to lots of excellent traffic-related puns as well.
Yes. And it's so silly in many ways. Like we said, it's better. This movie is better than it should be in a way. I feel like it should be
Yeah.
campier and sillier, but it's kind of good.
It took itself seriously and it paid off.
Yeah, it really did. And I think something that is very special about this movie for us is that is one that we both distinctly remember watching as
Yes.
tweens together. So
Yes.
we watched this for the first time together, right? With a few other friends.
Absolutely.
I think we probably remember it because one, we weren't watching a whole lot of scary or thriller type movies. And also Paul Walker's butt. For sure.
We remember that.
Oh, I remember, I think it was, oh, I don't even know what to say. One of our friends pausing the movie and like rewinding it to rewatch them running like bare-assed up to the diner and just like trying to like, peep show Paul Walker. Just watching his butt over and over again.
I did warn our listeners at the top of the episode that the thirst was gonna be back.
It's back. It is back. Anywho, any other like memories aside from Paul Walker's butt?
No, that's the big one.
That's it. I think part of why this movie also then holds, let's be real, holds a special place in my heart is because then I kind of went on to, it was similar to Cabin in the Woods, like a movie I would just like show people or have like a fun movie night. And I remember having a movie night out on my parents' deck and we put my little miniature like DVD TV combo in the corner of the deck. We put out like a couch and we had a whole bunch of cushions and blankets and it was me, my sister, and two of my cousins and we all watched it together and it was just it was so cozy and fun.
That's amazing.
Just have really fond memories of this semi-disturbing movie.
I have really fond memories of your TV DVD combo.
I was just talking to my mom about it. I was like, did we throw that away? Like, is there a chance that it's tucked in the basement? I'm going to be going home next weekend and you bet your bottom dollar I will be looking for it. So I'm like, I should have kept that.
That would be so exciting.
It was silver. Oh, she was a beauty. She was a beauty. We had a lot of
good memories on that.
Yeah, for sure. One last thing. Joyride also has the honor of being the first horror VHS added to my collection. Kind of by accident, kind of on purpose.
So
have I watched it? No, I can't yet, but coming soon.
I love that, and that's appropriate for so many reasons, not just because of the year it came out, but I came across this term in doing my own reading about this movie, and they refer to this movie as analog horror, which I had never really thought about before. But basically a horror movie back before cell phones, back before we had a computer in our hands all the time. And when I was watching this movie, I was really thinking about, like, you couldn't make this movie today. Cell phones have made this plot and so many other horror plots completely irrelevant. So I love that you had it on VHS. It really matches. Like, it's analog horror. It's a CB radio. That's what everything is done on.
That's so true.
And some landlines.
Yes, I could see myself getting like a CB radio. Like if we went on a really long road trip, like we got a CB radio just like for fun. Yeah, right. Another week long trek around Montana. Like we could have made the sequel, right? We could have had our CB radio, and like we were in plenty of places without cell service, I feel like, or at least I was during my. But yeah. I totally hear what you're saying, and I think about that frequently, and I think that's part of why I like 80s and 90s, early 2000s horror, because it is so different. Like we talked about on Scream when Sydney is calling the police by like typing it into her computer, which we still don't understand. But still, yeah, that's not something that you see today. Or maybe
Right.
just under any other circumstance. I don't know.
And I mean, people will intentionally now make horror movies set pre-cell phones.
Yeah.
But it's not the same. It's not
Ugh,
the
the
same.
world's not the same, man.
No.
Ugh.
So we have talked a little bit already about this is not something we enjoy because it's like campy and fun and silly. It's like actually pretty good. And we both noted that one of the writers of the movie is J.J. Abrams,
Yeah.
who you all have encountered in some way. Some of the new Star Wars movies, Lost.
Hmm.
I think he did Westworld.
He's done a
He's,
lot of
yes,
big projects.
yes.
Was he the Transformers guy? Why am I thinking of that? Did he do
That's Michael
Transformers?
Bay, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's
Maybe
Michael
that's who
Bay.
I'm mixing him up
Michael
with. But yeah.
Bay is Explosion Guy. If
Yeah,
if there's a movie with a bunch of
yeah,
explosions,
yeah.
it's Michael Bay.
I don't remember Transformers. I just remember Shia LaBeouf is in it, and it was
Yeah.
weird. That's all. That's my critique.
Not J.J. Abrams, I don't
No,
think.
okay.
But
Okay,
he's
no, I
done
got
so
it
much.
twisted. So much.
So thank you. Shout out to J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, I did not know
Um,
that until researching this podcast.
yeah, yeah. I love when somebody you know now behind the scenes pops up way back in the day. That's always so
It's
much
fun.
fun.
Agreed.
Okay. So, really quickly, before we get into any serious discussion, I did want to point out a major plot hole in this movie that I have
Okay.
just figured out today. So, there's a giant 18-wheeler following a car, and they're trying to lose him. Just gotta find a short bridge. Drive under a short bridge. The guy is screwed. We both lived in Boston. Did you
Oh
ever
my
encounter
gosh.
the Storrow Drive Bridge?
Uh, I not that I can remember, but have many like first degree experiences of people who have or just like crashed on Storrow Drive because it's wretched. But yeah, so many trucks have been decapitated by that bridge.
So this
So
is,
many.
listeners, a bridge in Boston, and my campus like ran along Storrow Drive. So we were familiar. And without fail, every year on college move-in day, because Boston is just littered with colleges, somebody drives a big moving truck and tries to get under this very clearly labeled bridge and like just takes the top off of their truck, backs up all the traffic. It's
Yeah.
terrible.
You're sounding a teeny bit judgy, and like this hasn't happened to me for the record. But couldn't you see if you weren't familiar, driving in Boston is so
It's
stressful. There's
terrifying.
really nowhere for you to go aside from like trying to stop really suddenly on the teeny tiny side of the highway there. Anyway, I just I could see it happening. Maybe I would stop before decapitating my truck. I wouldn't just be like, it's gonna be fine, because it's never fine on that one. But yeah, it's good point. Good point. They were in the
That was
middle
some
of
kindness you
nowhere.
brought. They were in the middle of nowhere. Yes, yes, this is true.
I appreciate your thought process, but your
That's
plot
what
hole has
I
a
will
plot hole.
do in the sequel.
Yeah, but how
I
would you
have a
Google that? How
plan.
would you find like short bridge near me?
Analog horror. You can't.
That's true. You're screwed. You're screwed just like the rest of us.
All right, let's get serious. I'm just
Okay.
kidding. We're
Oh
never
yeah.
serious.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about the characters and the actors that play them.
Let's.
So, Lewis, we've covered some good ground here. We love Paul Walker. We
Love.
think he's good in this. Now, you had some thoughts about other Paul Walker movies.
We love Paul. We don't necessarily always love Paul's performances. I'm
Yeah.
uncomfortable with us calling him Paul again. His acting can be very uneven, let's say.
Yeah.
This movie, it was pretty good, and I think the other movie that I like him in is Varsity Blues, but he has
Hmm.
a side. He's not one of the main
Yeah.
characters. He has a pretty
Mhm.
big role, but he's kind of on the side, and it's a very natural fit. Like he plays the college jock
Yeah.
so seamlessly.
Yeah.
When he's kind of
Yeah.
trying to be tough in like the Fast and Furious movies, it starts to lose me. I'm not intimidated by
He's too
him.
pretty.
He's too pretty.
Yeah.
It's too, like, you can't tell me you're getting in a fist fight and like marring up that
No.
face. Come
Mm-mm.
on.
So in Joyride, when he is on the CB radio pretending to be a girl, which by the way,
So
I
good.
like that was the part of the movie that I had to watch like through my fingers. It was too I was
So
mortified. I
cringy.
hated it. It was so cringy. But I don't know
Yeah,
if you
he really
noticed how much he like
commits.
bats his eyelashes when he's doing that.
And the places he goes, like he really gets into it, and
Yeah. I was
it's
very
pretty good.
uncomfortable. That was what made it a horror movie for me.
Oh, the cringe. The cringe rating was off the chart.
So it was too cringy.
Uh,
Okay, so then we've got his brother. We've got
yeah.
Fuller, played by Steve Zahn, who you said you think is so funny, and
Okay, well,
I think
hold on.
okay,
Sarah, Sarah's coming in hot with the Stark. She thinks he's so funny.
what you
Okay, I probably
said.
did say that verbatim. This is like in the reality TV shows where I'm like, I never said he was so funny. And then they play back the clip and I'm like, he is so funny. It's the reason I love this movie. Okay, there are a handful of times where I find him really charming and funny. I may have misspoke earlier. I am backpedaling.
Okay, all right.
I don't like conflict, Sarah, so we must agree. But okay, go ahead, please. I cut you off, being rude, accusing you of being rude. So please continue on your thoughts on Fuller slash
Well,
Steve Zahn.
anything I've seen on the internet agrees with you. People love him in this. They think he's good comedic relief.
Mhm.
Like, everybody else is with you. I found him not only annoying, but like everything is his fault. And I blame him, and
Oh,
it's terrible.
yeah. Watching it through an adult lens, it is so clear the differences between him and Lewis, and how Lewis is like a goody two shoes, but
Mhm.
he looks up to his really terrible influence of an older brother.
Who has just
And
gotten out of jail. He has driven
yes,
out of his way to pick up his brother who just got out of jail.
yes. And he goads him constantly. Like
Yes.
Lewis is consistently like, no, that's not a good idea. No, that's not nice. And he is like almost maniacal. Like he'll be like,
Yeah.
come on, and be like punching him, like as if it's like a need, like an addiction
Mhm.
for him to cause this chaos. I agree. He is a total shit. There is one scene in the movie. I'm trying to think of like even like what I found was so funny. And there's one scene in the movie that just like cracks me up so much, and I don't think that it should. It's definitely supposed to be funny. But it's when they are in the bar.
Mhm.
We're fast forwarding to like 3/4 of the way through the movie. But these awful, grimy, I don't even know, hicks are at the
Yeah.
bar, just harassing Venna. And of course, Lewis, being the honorable one, goes up and is like, is there a problem here? And his behavior is like escalating the situation. Like they're outnumbered.
Mhm.
It's not good. And the hick guys are being awful, being like, is this your bitch? Like, you better shut your bitch up. And then Fuller's like in the background watching this, and he comes in and he's like, bitch? She like running her mouth again. And basically says like exactly what they're saying. But it is so funny. Like
It's
they are so
clever
taken.
also.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
such a clever way to like de-escalate and like get out of a situation without causing a fight. Like he was arrested for drunk and disorderly. Like this doesn't seem like
Right?
maybe he's tried this bit before and it's gone the other way, but it really
Yeah.
worked this time. And I don't know. I just thought it was so like his delivery of it was so good.
It was also like so out of nowhere.
Yes.
And they were outnumbered. It was well thought through. And I would also say he stops creating problems and being annoying like halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
But he also tries to get with Venna, who
Yeah.
it is very established, and he has been teasing his brother about liking Venna, and he
Right.
still tries to get with her.
Yeah.
So sleazy.
And he has that conversation where Lewis, I almost said Paul Walker's Lewis has kind of like passed out on the bed of their shared hotel room, and I want to call him Steve. What are their names? Fuller. They have such like random names. Fuller is, knows he's asleep, and he's like, yeah, like you're not really like that into her, right? Like if you tell me, I'll back off. I won't do anything. Just let me know. Yeah, it's bad brother, bad brother behavior. And I found out when researching this episode that there is a deleted scene where they kiss.
Ew.
I know.
No.
And that is very like, even though that was a deleted scene, it's very implied. It's also implied that like Venna's kind of into both of them
Yeah.
for whatever reason. Like, in what world is Paul Walker in love with you? And you're like, this other guy. Any other guy, let alone
Let's talk about Venna. How do you feel about her?
I thought critically about this today. And where did I land? I am more positive than I used to be.
Okay.
I think jealousy was rearing its ugly head when I was younger. And I was like,
even though you are her, she is you.
Right. I was like, even though I look like her and pretty much am her, she's still, I mean, they don't even like, maybe they hug in this movie. Like, there is no.
Yeah, there's nothing.
The slow burn romance does not pay off. I am glad that they didn't have the slow burn then pay off to her making out with Fuller.
Yes.
Grateful for that. But like I said, I don't find Lily Sobieski's acting particularly charming. Just the way that she communicates, she acts like that kind of girl, similar to like Clear Rivers, Final Destination, right? She's reading literature. She's not reading books. She waxes and was it wax poetic, Wade and poetic? I don't know. I don't do it.
Wax, but I don't know what it means.
Me neither, but like you kind of know what it means, right? And she probably does it.
Yeah.
Like, the way that she talks to him is just so like, I'm like, just speak words. So I do find her a little bit irritating. But also what is like a more feminist way to say this? Like, she's the only one with balls in the group. Like, she is way braver than them and like making way more courageous choices than they are. She's just like she has my friend, like Rusty Nail, not Rusty Nail, like the name of this villain.
It's a lot.
Just caused me to lose my composure completely. She is a good friend, and the fact that her friend is in trouble, it doesn't matter. She's going to do whatever it takes. She's not worried about her own safety. She's not worried about like, should we do this? Should we do that? Like, she's going in. I can tell that you are brewing and disagree. Hit me with it. This is supposed to be our friendship movie,
It's okay
Sarah.
if we disagree.
We're supposed to be best friends.
Okay, it's a good point that she does, like, she's like, yeah, we're going in. We're going for it. But like, I don't know. That's like 3 minutes of her character. And the rest of it, I feel like she's just used as a plot device.
Well, yeah, you say that's 3 minutes of her character, but like, what else do we have?
Yeah.
Is that your point?
I mean,
like, there isn't anything else?
Yeah, they didn't give that. They didn't give her a lot. We don't really know anything about her. She's tough. She's not a damsel in distress. Like, she does have that stuff, but then she gets tied up and she has to be rescued. And I don't know.
But she is trying to get, like, she
is.
Yeah. She wasn't just like sitting there giving up.
True.
Yeah. And Rusty Nail, formidable opponent.
Very.
Tell you
he
what.
is terrifying.
Yeah, he is. Are we talking about him as one of the characters? Because, wow.
I'll give you a question I think we agree on. And maybe I'll feel better.
And we can rekindle our friendship. Our renaissance is now. Okay, I'm getting stressed out.
Rusty Nail, which, listeners, that is his name because it is his CB call sign.
We don't know his
which
real name ever, I
we
don't
don't
think.
know his real name. And the fake girl they make up, her call sign
Candy
is
cane.
Candy Cane,
Candy cane.
which
So
is
good.
terrifying to hear in his voice.
Oh yeah. Candy
Um,
cane.
well, actually,
Ooh, that was pretty
let's.
good.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
So Rusty Nail is played by Ted Devine. That's his name.
I have to check
Ted Levine. Sorry.
Ted. Okay, wait. So it's weird. Is that the name of the voice actor
That's
or
the voice.
the Okay.
Yeah.
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 That's what I thought because that is the guy who is Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs.
It's such a good voice.
So good. I'm so glad that they picked like someone to do like voice acting for this basically.
Yes. However, what I know Ted Levine from is the
Uh-oh.
show Monk.
He's in that?
Yes.
I've never
He
seen
plays like
that,
a
but
like a police sergeant or something in like many, if not all of the seasons, which is much more like Murder, She Wrote vibes than anything like this.
Weird. Weird.
Yeah.
Well, he nails he nails it. Rusty.
He
Oh God,
rusty
I
nails
wish.
it.
Oh God, put that on a t-shirt.
So is he scarier because we mostly don't see him or know what he looks like?
Totally, I think so.
Yeah.
I can't believe how scary he is as a disembodied voice on a radio.
hmm
The writing in this movie, I think, is really good. The voice acting is incredible. One thing that they do, and I have no idea why they did this, this seems so freaking lazy. At the end, we finally get a brief visual of Rusty Nail, who is played by a separate actor. It's not Ted Levine. Um, which I'm fine with. I think the visual, the choice, I think he does a good job with that small ending scene. But then they have a part where he is holding Fuller at the end, being like, watch this, like it's gonna be hilarious. And they didn't do a voiceover for it. So it's a completely different voice. It sounds so goofy. It's supposed to be this like terrifying, the like
hmm
literal climax of the movie, and they just couldn't. I mean, maybe they did try and it just wasn't because those can be really tricky to line up, but
Seems
I
like it would have been worth the effort.
they could have had like maybe a shot from the side or like from behind them where we know that it's him talking and we're seeing like Venna, like them
Yeah.
looking at her and then having the voice while he's holding him. I was so mad at that rewatching it as an adult.
Right,
These are
because
the
it's
things
not
that
like
bother
a
me.
CB radio is a voice changer. This isn't a Scream situation.
Exactly, exactly. Which even Scream, like Scream goes through like so many hoops to try to make the voice modulator
Yes.
thing work and make sense. Like it
Yes.
defies technology, but it still gives you answers of like, oh, this technology that doesn't exist to this, you know? Whereas this is
Yes.
just like, I don't know, is that a totally different guy? Like,
Yeah. And like
I don't like that.
the voice is what makes him. It's a
Yes,
silly choice. It's a
it's
silly
silly.
choice.
And I wonder even, how do you feel about the ending, like finally seeing him? Like, did you find that that was really scary, or was it just kind of like, oh, there's just like some action and then it's over?
Yeah, that's mostly how I felt about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I do like the setup. Like I like how crafty he was with
hmm
not giving them the hotel or the motel name, putting her in a
Oh
different
yeah.
room, setting it up so that they actually kill her. Like it was very crafty
Well,
indeed.
speaking of crafty, so
Mm.
another thing that's fascinating is he constantly knows where they are and they never establish for us. It's one thing that's nice about this movie. They don't like bend over backwards to give you all these explanations and details.
Right.
They just like let it happen. And so he constantly knows where they are. I have no idea how.
Yeah. He can't
So
be sneaky in his
he
18-wheeler.
can't be sneaky. I don't think GPS trackers were a super accessible thing.
Probably.
I don't
He didn't
know.
seem like a GPS tracker
No.
kind of guy.
No. So that leads me to my favorite question.
Oh.
Is Rusty Nail supernatural in some way? Does he like have supernatural
Ooh.
abilities or is he just Jessica Fletcher from Murder, She Wrote, level good at noticing details and figuring things out.
Oh my God, I love this question. The layers you just brought. The supernatural thing never crossed my mind. And I think that I kind of accepted it at face value that he just was able to. They establish at one point basically how he realizes that it's them, or assume, like, he kind of puts those pieces together that it was a prank, and then sees the CB radio. Like, you see an 18-wheeler driving off at some point from the motel, and they were the only ones there. Like,
Yeah. They've got the tail light out. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not too far of a stretch. What I thought about while watching this movie was the candy cane interaction. And if candy cane were real, if he had gone to that motel room and she was there, do you think he was there like to hook up, or do you think he was there to kill her? Like, I don't buy that that ripping that guy's jaw off was his first murder, and that then he just escalated into this elaborate of like, I'm going to hunt you down, watch everything that you do, know where you are, stalk you, and then create this whole vengeance plot. Like, this could not have been his first rodeo, right?
Over a prank that like really had no consequences for him other than getting his feelings
Embarrassment,
hurt.
which makes me feel like, yes, he was there in like hopes of a hookup, but like also that doesn't really make sense to me for his character. Like, it would make sense to me that he was there to kill someone. Like, he was a serial killer. And then he was like, some person is like, here is my location. I will be there alone.
Here's the other thing that supports serial killer. When he's talking to Candy Cane, he's like so shy and unsure. And then he flips a switch into this like murderous, terrifying person.
So
like,
true. And he definitely, that gives the vibes of like how so many real life serial killers just had like mommy issues and intimacy issues. So that kind of like is their trigger to where the violence start, is some sort of rejection from a woman. But at the same time, like, I still stand by that, like, this could not have been like, this is where he goes from like, I'm a kind of like angsty, weird, lonely trucker to like, wow, I am a extremely, what is the word, organized killer.
Oh yeah.
Right,
he is organized
extremely. And then when we do see him at the end, he looks disheveled, dirty. Like, they really play up that he is just like what you would think of as a stereotypical like, ew, trucker, which like I don't know.
Rude.
All of the truckers I've ever seen or met do not look like that. No. They look like very normal people. Just like anyone else you would see. But they play into that stereotype, which I don't know, his character, I think, is so good, and I do agree that I like that they don't over-explain, but when you stop to then think about it and analyze it like we are now, we're like, how does it make sense? I mean, what are your thoughts?
But if they tried explaining that in the movie, it would take everything away from the movie. This is nothing about this movie is gonna be campy fun, so it wasn't gonna be like,
that's true, bad
enough to therefore be good. And if they over explain things, like, I like the mystery they have left in it. Even like with the ending, like they do not come to a easy conclusion at the end of the movie. And I think that does a lot.
They set it up for a really good sequel and then never delivered.
I know, that's
there
amazing.
Was some sort of sequel. I think there were like maybe 3, at least 3, possibly 4 Joyride movies, at least 3. I'm pretty sure. Never seen any of them. I think they are like D level, like they're bottom shelf movies.
Yeah. So I have one final question for you, and you actually wrote this question.
Oh,
and I love it. Who is more petty, death, as shown in Final Destination, which we talked about 2 weeks ago, or Rusty Nail, who goes on this murderous spree because of a rather harmless prank.
Yeah. I wrote this question relatively rhetorical because I truly don't know, but I kind of want to say rusty nail,
I think so. And
right?
the evidence for that is when, as a part of his payback, it's not all murderous violence. There's also the scene where you see Paul Walker's butt, which is him pranking them back. They have to walk
Yes.
naked into a restaurant.
Yes. And one thing that also struck me about this movie is when he eventually hunts them down. We have the fake out with the ice trucker, which I think is a really good tense
Yeah.
scene. And I
Yeah.
also just like end up loving the ice trucker. And then he has them pinned. He like he's ready to squish them. He's ready to squish them dead. And Fuller
Yeah.
finally has this like growth moment and he apologizes and he like really like does what Rusty Nail had originally asked him to do, which he wouldn't do because, like you said, he's an idiot. Um, and then he's just like, "Well, I was just joking with you," and drives off. And we think it's over. And I love that this movie is like part one and part two, right? Like that
Yeah.
next section of the movie feels like a totally different plot. Like we're watching it from the beginning once
Totally.
they pick up Venna. And I thought about that where like, why did he let them go? Like, was this just really fun for him? Like, because it wasn't like, oh, he accepted their apology, because then he continues to stalk them. And then once he sees Venna, like, he then kidnaps Venna's friend, you know, just because he sees that there are girls involved. Like, clearly he hasn't moved on. He's still
Yeah.
following them, which just like, I'm still like cackling about what you
He
said
literally,
with
yeah.
him sneaking around. I'm imagining on this fancy college campus, he's like lurking behind a bush like Michael
Right?
Myers, or just like his 18-wheeler just pulled over on the edge of, this gated campus. Who knows?
Also, does he not have a delivery he's got to make at some point?
That's true. Like, is he clocked in? Is he on the clock? Is he
Where's he
charging for this?
going?
Is he charging the mileage to do all these detours? That's so funny. Oh man, we have questions.
We
But we
do, but
don't
I
really
don't
need
really need.
answers.
Exactly. I
See,
think
we're
it would
friends
be
again.
worse. We are. We
We
are.
came full circle. We're back, baby.
We love this movie. We
We do,
do.
yeah, yeah, and it's okay that I think that we didn't disagree as much as I was worried that we were going to. Like,
Yeah.
I was, I was overselling, I think, my love for the Fuller character, and then maybe over uh selling Venna being cool too. Maybe no one's good.
But
You brought me
but they
down. Everyone
came
sucks.
together to make a good movie.
As a trio, I think that they have a fun dynamic. Even the shittier behaviors by Fuller, I think, are very believable. I find that their like brother
Yes.
dynamic is
Yeah.
very believable. Um, I I don't know. I just think everything that they said or did to each other, I was like, this is real life. This feels like real life.
Yeah. No, that is totally fair. He was an extremely believable character, and I think they all were.
Yeah, I agree. I
Hmm.
agree. Which is a really fun, bizarre thing about this movie. Because
I know,
this feels like it should be campy, and that we also like should not like it because it's not. But here we are.
but it's well done.
That's good.
So I think we have agreed that we like the ending. We like that it's
Yeah.
unsure.
Uh-huh.
And spoiler alert, listeners, what happens is that big showdown confrontation. We think everybody's gonna die, but all of our main characters escape. It seems as though Rusty Nail has been killed after ramming his truck through a building. Uh, but then like the last line is that he's like, so who was he? And they're like, I don't know, some ice trucker named Jones. And we
Yeah.
know that he had previously definitely killed the ice trucker that they met by ramming his 18-wheeler through the much smaller truck. So we are led to believe that he is still out there. And I am giving you this explanation because there were four alternate endings considered for this
Yeah.
movie, three of which were filmed, I believe, and were on the DVD extra. I did not watch
Yes.
this on
Yes.
DVD, so I did not get to see them. But this
I
brings me
did.
to a first for the pod. I have a game.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be short. It's going to be silly. Rather than go through every single alternate ending, what you're going to do is go into our little notes document. I have a link for you in there.
Okay.
To pull up a 4-sided die.
Okay. Wow.
Which you are going to roll. And it's almost going to be like MASH for alternate endings. So you are going to roll 4 out of the 4 possible outcomes. What's going to happen to our protagonists?
Okay.
Being Lewis, Fuller, and Venna. And what's going to happen to Rusty Nail. And you're going to give us our newest alternate ending.
It's a lot of pressure. Okay, this is not pre-analog.
Well, if you were in our house, you would have many full sets of dice, and you would have a physical one to roll, but you may be less dorky than us.
Okay. My first roll is a number 1.
Number 1, okay. And give me your second roll. I'll read them together.
Number 1 again.
All right. Well, this is boring. We're going to play this game twice. Oh. So you have given us with this the original ending, which they showed to test audiences, and people didn't like it, and that's why we got that. So what you have rolled for us is that all 3 of our protagonists survive. The police intervene after Rusty Nail's final ambush. Rusty Nail is shot and killed by police after being lured into a trap. And he is like definitively dead.
A trap by the police?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't buy that.
Yeah.
No. I'm glad they didn't do that.
That was the actual original ending to the movie before it was shown to test audiences.
Yeah, no, good they did.
All right, let's play it again.
Yeah. Okay.
Give me something better. Let's have some fun.
2. And
all right.
1.
All right. In our version of the alternate ending. No, this is so lame.
Why don't you just give me the best option? The digital dice are not on your side.
All right. So
tell me your dream weird ending.
Okay. So Venna takes charge and actively rescues herself using a shotgun.
Excellent.
All of our protagonists survive. As far as Rusty Nail, he is believed dead, but a final reveal shows his truck driving away, implying he has survived.
I like that.
I like it too.
Yeah.
That's a mix of 2. It's a mix of the first reshoot and something that the internet has called Venna Saves the Day. And then something that, so the only ones we haven't covered were something that was not filmed, but they like storyboarded.
I remember that in the DVD. It was so silly.
Yeah.
They were like doing like a flip book.
They were like, people are going to want to know this. And we were like, yes, we are people. We are people.
Yeah.
So in some of the drafts, one of the brothers dies. It's
a
very different movie. I know it was not specified in whatever I looked up.
That would be very different experiences.
Yeah.
It's got to be Fuller.
Yeah,
it can't be Lewis. That would be so weird to kill off Lewis and have Fuller go on for humanity.
I think it's still... Not the right ending.
No. It was right for them to have 3 final girls.
Yeah. Yeah. And Rusty Nail gets away in this one too. So
yeah. I think everyone should have gotten away. Except for maybe Charlotte. Sorry, Charlotte.
Yeah,
they could have found her dead in the...
I kind of expected that.
Do they even have her reuniting with Venna? Like, are they like hugging?
They don't. Oh, they do. Venna goes to check on her in the back of an ambulance.
I would have been like, "Girl, we are not friends anymore."
That's
unfortunately.
Real.
If we met in college and knew each other for a year, and then this happened because of you, through no fault of your own, but because of you, I would be like, "Unfortunately, I'm transferring schools, and we'll never see you again."
Bye.
Thanks for trying to save me and kind of doing it.
Trauma.
That is capital T trauma right there.
Well, I do like that the ending is so uncertain. I have said multiple times all 3 protagonists survive, but like Rusty Nail is still out there. I'm probably trying to get them. So missed opportunity on a sequel, and
I am now the slightest bit curious about the sequels, but like, let me read maybe the Wikipedia plot summary.
I feel like they didn't
curious,
have the same characters in
right? But I
them.
think it did have Rusty Nail, which I
Interesting.
don't quite,
Okay.
he's
All
just
right.
he's
All
just
right.
on
We'll
back
do a
on his
little
bullshit.
research. Yeah.
We'll circle back to that maybe in a future episode.
I love it.
Oh,
All
well, that was
right.
fun. Sarah's first game.
My first game, us talking about the movie that we have been talking about covering on the podcast since our last version of the podcast
Yeah, we
because
were
we
very
love it so
excited
much.
then, and are still. Yeah, we'll talk about it again. This can't be the
I'm sure
last
we
time.
will.
When I finally can play my VHS, we're gonna circle back.
Oh my God, I can't wait. And then
It'll
I
be
can't wait to
exciting.
visit you and watch it on VHS then.
Oh, for sure. It's so rewatchable. I watched it so many times at this point.
We don't have to pause it on Paul Walker's butt this time.
We could. We could.
That's an option. An analog pause.
His butt is so good. Anyway, we'll move on. It's so good.
All right. All right. Ashley, what are we talking about next week?
Well, next week, we will be going on yet another adventure. We're going to be chatting about the Goonies. Just so exciting. And I'm also going to be telling you about the Island of the Dolls. Less cute, more terrifying. See you there.
And now it's time for your bedtime story.
Welcome back to the segment of the podcast where I get to traumatize Sarah with some terrifying paranormal story. Yay.
Join me, audience, in these terrible feelings.
They're so fun. When trying to find a good story to pair with Joyride, I went down a bit of a rabbit hole, of course. This rabbit hole was titled Haunted Roadways.
Oh, man.
Here we go. Today we're going to be talking about a road, no joke, formerly named Highway 666.
Have the people not learned their lesson yet?
I mean, whew. It was the 1920s, but still. Sarah, when you hear the number 666, what do you think of?
The devil.
Right. So, like you, many associate the number 666 with not so great things. The origin of this being the New Testament calling 666, quote, the number of the beast. And it's also solidified its place in pop culture with movies like The Omen. It's just very well established that this is associated with the devil. Even people who don't believe in that sort of thing could still probably tell you that that's what comes to mind when you hear that number.
Totally.
And because of numbers like 666 and its cousin, 13, they carry an air of superstition for many people. And just hearing them, for some, can evoke this sense of paranoia, fear, impending doom. Great name for a highway, right?
Perfect.
Perfect. Chef's kiss on Highway 666. The origin story, however, is really not nefarious. The route was established in 1926 and was the 6th highway off of the famous Route 66. That's just the way they named highways back then, so it was Highway 666.
Okay.
It covered 200 miles and ran through the states of Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico. As expected, soon after its inception, there was public outcry over the highway's name. People did not like it.
Yeah.
But for the next nearly 80 years, the name remained, and the route quickly gained a sinister reputation, becoming a hub of terrifying road tales, accidents, and fatalities. So, was Highway 666 just an average highway or something more sinister? I'm going to tell you. Actually, I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. So, anyone who's driven on a freeway knows they're dangerous, right?
Yes.
They are
Kind
just
of terrifying at a base level.
right. But many felt like there was something a bit more sinister going on Highway 666. So traveling down the highway was considered a risk by some, especially if you were traveling alone or at night. Let me get into some of the terrors the drivers have said to encountered on this highway. First up is Satan's sedan. This was a black sedan described as similar in appearance to a 1920s Pierce Arrow Roadster, and was said to be a regular menace on Highway 666. Let me show you a picture of it. Sarah, what do you think of Satan's sedan?
I'm not sure I'm getting the right images in my Google search.
So Google a 1920s Pierce Arrow Roadster.
Got it. Okay.
A black one. And that'll give you the vibe.
1920s. Pierce Era Roadster?
Mm-hmm. Pierce Arrow. I don't know.
Pierce Arrow. I love how they used to name cars Roadster.
Cute.
All right, yeah. That could be Satan's sedan, but it's
For
like
sure.
kind of fun. Also, the name Satan's sedan is kind of fun.
Yeah. It's a little bit cartoonish.
Yeah.
It's not the same car that they used in AMC's show Nosferatu. Did you watch that?
No.
So that is a Rolls-Royce Wraith, but it's got a similar vibe. And you're right, it is a car where you'd see it and you'd be like, sure, Satan, drive that.
Yeah.
So despite good visibility for miles along this mostly flat highway, the black sedan was said to suddenly appear behind you, flickering its lights and tailgating you closely. If you tried to accelerate, the sedan effortlessly remained on your bumper. If you looked inside the car, you would see a dark shadow figure in the driver's seat. Or maybe no one at all.
That's terrifying.
If you were lucky, the sedan would then just disappear into the night. Those that were less fortunate were rear-ended or driven off the road by the sedan, and people blamed this vehicle for crashes that sometimes cost people their lives.
Oh.
Next, we have the Demon Trucker.
Sorry, the names are just good. I like them.
Oh yeah, it just is hard to believe that these are real stories from people. They're very theatrical. So, as you may have guessed, Satan's sedan wasn't the only murderous vehicle traveling on this highway in search of victims. Legend tells of a semi-truck that traveled at high speeds, accelerating towards oncoming traffic. Some even said that this possessed 18-wheeler was engulfed in flames.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you may be thinking, this is starting to sound like a sequel to Maximum Overdrive. Have you seen that movie?
No.
Oh god. Well, this is gonna be fun then. It is a 1986 horror film written and directed by Stephen King. So it's his one and only directorial effort.
Yeah.
Let me preface this by saying I love Stephen King. Extremely talented. Everybody knows this. No one can deny that. This movie was so bad. 14% on Rotten Tomatoes bad.
Whoa. Are we gonna watch that for the pod? We should.
Stay tuned. So the plot is about a comet that hits Earth, causes machines to come to life, and not only do the machines come to life, but they want to kill and conquer humanity. They're ready to take over the globe, okay? So lots of demon trucks milling about.
Yeah.
Chris loves this movie.
I mean, I think I would love this movie.
To say, to me, it represents the bad side of camp, but an argument could be made, like, is there a bad side of camp? We'll find out.
Not to me.
We probably are going to have to watch it at some point.
We should.
Yeah, we should. Anyway, back to Highway 666. I took a little detour there.
Oh, clever.
Please forgive me for that one. So, possessed vehicles were not the only thing terrorizing this highway. There were reports of also several different creepy isn't even a good enough word, terrifying creatures that were known to roam the highway or have literal violent run-ins with drivers.
Ooh.
Just trying to make their way through. First, we have the demon dogs. Yep, sounds cute, right? Red eyes, dark-colored coats, and muscular builds. My son, Jed, is obsessed with dogs. He calls them dogas. Dogas. So just imagining driving down this highway and also just like, doga, doga. And I look at it, it's just a freaking demon dog. That is what I thought of.
I think it's gonna happen.
That is what I thought of. The demon dogs, as you may have guessed, are not cute or cuddly. There are stories of them slashing tires with their long, sharp nails. They can run as fast as cars on the highway. And oh yeah, they hunt in packs. Scary. Yeah. They also allegedly were able to effortlessly just smash through your windshield in order to grab you and drag you back to whatever master they served. We don't want to know. Maybe they were their own master. Who knows? Demon dogs in charge.
Demon dogas.
Dogas. And then there were the animals that didn't necessarily look evil. Things like coyotes, wolves, or crows. Some might say intimidating, dangerous, especially in the case of the coyotes or the wolves. But along Highway 666, you couldn't be sure that what you were seeing was really just an animal. Mm-hmm. If you listened to legend, you would know that you should not make eye contact with any of these creatures, as they may actually be a skinwalker. Which isn't, for anyone who doesn't know, in Native American culture is a dark magical being with shape-shifting abilities.
That's pretty scary.
Skinwalkers were also known to wreak havoc along the highway, provoking accidents and even appearing if you had an empty seat in your car.
Oh.
Ugh. People are like, do not have an empty seat in your car. Just put sex dolls in every seat. Like you're in the, what is that, like the carpool lane? It doesn't have to be a sex doll. It could just be a regular doll. Blow-up doll. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. My bad.
My problem is, though, that I would be like, oh, there's a cute animal in my car now.
I don't think that would be the vibe. I'm guessing.
I think you underestimate my reaction to animals.
Yeah, fair. But imagine, it's not like a little coyote just sitting there, like, they're just like all cute, and it's like possessed skinwalker creature.
We'll see.
Okay. You're like, jury's out. Jury's out. I do like your steadfastness here. Okay, so Sarah's a fan of the skinwalkers. She was like, come on in.
If they're
Water
cute
sign.
animals, yes.
I cannot vouch for them being cute or not, but moving on.
All right.
As if possessed demonic vehicles, murderous beasts, and the like were not enough, there were also alleged UFO sightings near Highway 666. The most common example of possible extraterrestrial activity were the thousands of drivers' reports of time lost or time distortion, including incidents of travelers going missing for hours or even days, and some arriving at their destination having no recollection of how they got there, as if they had been teleported there.
Whoa.
Do you know what is often associated with episodes of time loss?
Aliens.
Alien abduction. So because aliens are so sophisticated when they abduct us, because they're the way that they can move through time at a much faster rate, it causes these blips in our little old human experience of time, because we're slow.
Yeah.
Anyway, scary.
Yeah.
Especially depending on how you feel about aliens, friends, foe. We don't know. We just don't know. Real,
Jury's
fake,
out.
I don't know.
Again.
I mean, actually, no. We've established that they're real, right? I'm pretty
Basically,
sure.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure the government was like, yeah.
There's something.
Yeah.
There's something.
There's something going on. So Highway 666 really is a who's who of the paranormal world. And if you cannot believe it, we're still not done. We still have
Wow.
one more type of encounter that you
What
could
did
have
you
along the highway.
save for last?
Oh, the like most chill one. Ghosts.
Ghosts.
There's ghosts, and they actually seem like pretty chill. So if you encountered a ghost along this highway, that was kind of your best case scenario, aside from like having no encounter whatsoever. Okay. Several travelers reported a similar story to this. There was a young woman standing on the side of the road. She looked sad, perhaps even a little scared. Some concerned driver would pull over, see if she needed help, and she would not speak, not a single word. She would not look up at them from behind her long, dark hair, and she would vanish into thin air as they drove away.
Creepy.
So a lot of stories and many travelers reporting very similar stories, but was this highway really cursed? Can a highway be really cursed? Adding to the fear, a section of Highway 666 in New Mexico did in fact have above average rates of deaths and accidents when compared to other averages at the time. But there were several factors that we should take into account that do not involve the paranormal. Many of the deaths that occurred on the highway involved alcohol use, either by the drivers themselves or hitchhikers along the road, and DWI arrests were frequent in the area.
Okay.
When the highway's name was eventually changed, it was eventually changed from 666 to 491. Death rates did drop relatively soon after, which did not help the lore of this road. But this wasn't necessarily because the devil lost his grip on the road. It was mostly because efforts were actually made to improve the conditions of the road. Better roads, safer roads. There's also the possibility that the name change reduced another contributing factor to the accidents: the psychological distress, panic, and fear triggered in drivers due to the negative connotations associated with the number 666. Many maintain that the road is no longer cursed, but legends live on, and many still fear driving along this route, especially alone and at night. So how about you? Would you dare to take a midnight drive along the former Highway 666?
Yeah, I kind of want to.
Me too.
Yeah.
I wondered if I accidentally did it on my road trip and just had no idea, but I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because I went through New Mexico, like the whole top to bottom of the state, but it's more on like the western corner of the state.
Western corner.
Northwestern, I think it starts.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't been to that part of New Mexico.
I don't know that there's a lot there. Gallup, New Mexico.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's a fun name.
We should go.
Terrifying road.
I think it sounds.
We're big road
like
trip
have a
people,
good time. Yes.
So we're definitely doing haunted road trips. The haunted house, we're like,
yeah,
maybe. Haunted highway, for sure.
100%. I'm in.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Do you watch the show Evil?
No.
They have. I haven't been all caught up, but it was a show that I loved. One of those where I loved season 2 or loved season 1. Season 2 was like, and then I kind of like trickled off.
Yeah.
But they have an episode about like a haunted road. So part of it is like them.
Oh.
It's a parapsychologist, I believe, or a forensic psychologist. I can't remember. I think forensic psychologist, a priest, and then like kind of skeptic character. And they are working for the church, and then they're hired to investigate and basically debunk.
Okay.
Is this a possession? Is this a real haunting? And so there is one about a haunted road that's really good. That kind of reminded me of this. It was a really good episode because it's always scary, and it definitely is a show that's like a lot of things are not real, but a lot of things are real. And it's definitely a show that's like demons are everywhere.
I can really see a haunted road being a real thing. Like there's something about the aloneness of being out there, and I also think there's something about like people going from one place to another that could kind of attract that sort of energy. Like it's very different than that like very static haunted house.
True.
But it's I could see it.
I could see it too, especially when you think about a lot of hauntings or haunted places being residual energy from deaths happening. Just so many accidents for so many different reasons, and that could leave behind a lot of negative energy in a place. And then you also think about, obviously, this highway, like, ridiculous that they thought that name was ever a good idea. But I've driven alone at night. I've been tired. Your vision is different at night. It's not as sharp. It's hard to see. And you can get, like, really freaked out. I've never had an experience where I've ever thought that I've, like, seen something, but you become very aware of, like, your empty back seat, unless there's, like, a cute little coyote skinwalker back there.
Exactly.
But, you know, you get these feelings and you start to get really in your head.
Yeah.
And so I could totally see, especially people where these stories just became so mainstream, right, that they're just being recycled. And it's very urban legendy, these stories. You know, they have that quality to them where they're a bit out there and over the top and memorable. So you can just see how they could be told from person to person to person. Like, oh, my brother's sister. Wait,
right.
That's our sister. My brother's friend's cousin. You know, saw this, and then it becomes, oh, all of these people have seen this thing. They're good stories, but it is a bit much. It's a bit much.
The mix of the ghosts and the aliens, the mix of, like, all of the paranormal stuff.
It really is a who's who. Like, let's go down the line of what kind of paranormal activity we can have. I will say, the ghost girl, she seemed, I don't know, for some reason I really believed that one. And I actually saw a little clip of a UFO footage that someone had uploaded. They caught it on their drone. They were doing something else in that area, and I can't remember the names. I apologize to everybody for that, because I did kind of try to look for it, but I posted a link to the Lights Out episode on Highway 666, and he discusses that and names the name and goes into more detail about the UFO. But basically the man who caught the image uploaded it so that people could then download it and analyze it to try to, like, he's like, please, like debunk this if you can. Like, what am I seeing here? And I can't remember what they said that the speed of whatever was caught on it was, but it seemed very, very convincing to me.
I just, like, desperately want to go watch X-Files right now.
Yeah.
So everything about the road reminded me of X-Files.
Really? Yeah. Maybe they just, like, the show was inspired by Highway 666.
I could see it.
Yeah. Well, there's plenty to go off of, that's for sure.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Haunted Homebodies. Make sure you like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
And remember, when in doubt, just stay home.